created. So they created supernumerary post for appointment from the waitlisted, and that is also subject to the approval by the High Court. And in fact, no appointment has been made. So this blanket direction saying that you investigate everybody who is right from the officers, right up to the cabinet, the posts have been created, and with custodial interrogation and all that. So our submission is that the division bench went too far ahead, which was unnecessary. Then para 37 stated that no appointment whatsoever has been made in pursuance of the order of the state government dated 19th May 2022, which
may therefore divide your arguments into two parts. One is with regard to segregation, and the other is with regard to the direction given in terms of paragraph 8. So you can divide your arguments into two parts. First, you deal with the segregation part, and then you can deal with 8.
As has been stated by your Lordship in this judgment order which I have read out, and which is not disputed, that one, there was Justice Bag's committee constituted to investigate the irregularities. Then got the CBI investigation when the OMR sheets were recovered from NISA. Then they were handed over to the selection commission. They also submitted their report.
Okay. What we can do is we can now go to the impugned judgment. Why did they say that it's not possible to segregate?
That's right.
But may I add one aspect, Muller? I appear for the commission. But the commission has filed its written submission to the effect, my lord, that we support the segregation and that it is possible. Secondly, my lord, after this interim order was passed, we have carried out the exercise and we have filed an affidavit on 2nd of August of this year, my lord, indicating name-wise the persons who we believe are, my lord, capable of being segregated, and my lord, the rest can be saved because there is 25,000.
That being there, no? Let's first see the reason.
Yes.
I only have page 255 of the impugned order. In fact, please have 252 minutes. Because one of the issues was whether these OMR sheets recovered from NISA's officials, etc., is reliable, it should be proceeded, because that is the foundation.
No, one minute. We'll go to that later. You start this.
No, this is important. I'm not going into that issue.
Mr. Dwivedi, I'll tell you the reason why I'm saying so.
Yes, ma'am.
There's a misconception about 65B. Step 5B is only a mode of proof. The evidentiary value which you attach to a particular document, the weight will be attached to a particular document depends upon not the mode of proof alone, though they're connected, but to several other factors.
So I'm not going into.
Let's not go into that. So the second part, when we deal with the second part, it will obviously answer the first part.
No, I'm not at all not going into that issue because I'm not questioning, state is not questioning the authenticity and all those of the matrix.
There's a difference between the two. There's a huge difference between the two. Anybody issuing 65B certificate is only a mode of proof.
So what I'm
it's not dealing with 65B doesn't deal with and say what evidentiary value will attach to that document.
All that I'm trying to point out is that in this paragraph 307, the law just noted, I will not read it.
Okay, we'll come to that. let's first read the reasoning. Therefore, I
So
said.
High Court, foundation of my submission is based on this. Namely, the High Court says that these are authentic, reliable, and everything. I am proceeding on that foot. I'm not questioning this.
Okay, if you want to
I'm
read,
leaving
you can
it-
read that. If you want to, after having given that caveat, if you want to read, please do
So
that.
just have the at page 253, last 5 lines. I'm not questioning this finding for the same. High Court says at the bottom of 252,
Start from 307.
yes, the certificate dated 16th September 2022 issued by Mr. Pankaj Bansal relates to the data contained in the 3 hard disks adherence to requirement of section 65B in the facts and circumstances of the present case has to be adjudged on the conduct of the parties to the proceedings. All the relevant parties have admitted the contents of the 3 hard disks and acted on it without any demur. The Selection Commission has acknowledged manipulation illegalities in the recommendations and withdrew cancelled the same. State has decided that the cabinet.
I take it that OMR sheets originals have not been recovered.
No,
They have been destroyed.
they were destroyed because
Please, they have been destroyed. So original document is not available.
not available because petitions were filed after 2 years long gap, so they were not available, which is correct. Now, all I'm saying is, and I'm relying on this, that once the High Court relies on the authenticity, valid.
Mr. Dwivedi, there is a difference between the two. 65B certificate will only say that what is downloaded from the hard disk into the hard form is what is stated or loaded in that server or the hard disk.
That's right.
What was loaded on the server, whether it's a true and authentic copy, is never given by 65B.
No,
That is never given by 65B.
no,
That's a question of evidence. There's a difference between the two. I'll give you one simple example. The call record details which we get are downloaded from the server. That downloaded is first captured when the calls are made. Then there is a blockchain effect. You keep on changing. When a person gives that certificate, he gives a certificate that as I downloaded from the server, this is the data which is there. But he cannot vouch for whether there was any manipulation or change in data.
but before it was downloaded. That's all I was. I'm not questioning. Others will, learned council will address on that. But I'm not going into 65B. What I'm saying,
Please wait for your turn.
I'm making a very limited point here that High Court has in the last 3 lines factum, validity, legality, sufficiency, authenticity of the data has been proved by the conduct and actions of the relevant 12 authorities subsequent to the seizure of the 3 hard disks and after CBI had shared such data with the relevant authorities. So, after recovering, then it was shared with the commission, other authorities, and therefore, finally, the High Court feels that these data can be relied upon to adjudge whether there has been enhancement of marks in it or not. All those findings are based on the first prima facie finding that this is authentic and we can be proceeded with. This is all the limited thing which I wanted to point out. Now, kindly have paragraph 312 at page 255. In the factual context of the present. Sorry.
High Court, why didn't you?
ছ টাকায় 1 কোটি কোটি টাকা, 6 টাকায়
মাত্র 6 টাকায় 1 কোটি।
6 টাকায় 1 কোটি
ওয়াও,
কোটি
6
টাকা,
টাকায় 1 কোটি।
কিনুন ডিয়ার সাপ্তাহিক লটারি মাত্র 6 টাকায় আর পেয়ে যান প্রথম পুরস্কার 1 কোটি
6
টাকা।
টাকায় 1 কোটি কোটি টাকা, 6 টাকায় 6 টাকায়।
ডিয়ার সাপ্তাহিক লটারি, ভাগ্য বদলের দিশারি।
Thing we want to know,
Yes.
is there any rule or prescription in the, that when OMR sheets should be destroyed?
Yes, 1 year.
1 year is.
1 year. Okay. We are asking a question, Mr. Dwivedi, everybody is wanting to answer.
Anxiety.
Yes, please.
At page 255, the bottom para 312. In the factual context of the present proceedings, we have 3 options to explore, namely, dismiss the writ petitions on the ground of maintainability. 2, explore the possibility of segregating the valid appointments from the illegal ones. 3, set aside the selection made in the selection process in its entirety.
Now, as far as second option is concerned, we need not go through the judgments, we know the case law. So we can skip that.
Yes.
Segregation is the second option.
That's all right. The judgment cited
We know the legal position ratio, why should we read those?
only the earlier judgments.
Yes.
In the
But we have given.
That's all.
Come to,
Para 320. Para 320.
yes, please.
The authorities noted above have observed that cancellation of a selection process without appointment being given therein stands on a different footing than a selection process. In the second category, courts must shift the grains from the shaft if possible. In the event it is impossible or highly improbable to shift the grain from the shaft, then the court may venture to cancel the entire selection process. Prior to embarking upon such an exercise, it must be satisfied that the selection process was tainted on the basis of cogent materials. There must be sufficient materials gathered through a thorough investigation that there has been illegalities in the selection process. The appointees had benefited out of the illegalities and were a part of it, and that the appointments made were contrary to law. In respect of the 4 categories of the selection process involved, written examination has been held. Written examination was in the form of OMR sheets. Original OMR sheets have been destroyed by SSC. Mirror image of the destroyed OMR sheets was required to have been preserved by SSC. CBI had seized the server of the SSC and did not find mirror image of such OMR sheets in the server of
Is
SSC.
this factually correct?
Factually correct.
Is this factually correct?
Mirror image. Yes.
Was mirror images of the OMR sheet preserved by the SEC?
Not preserved and not required to be preserved.
One minute. That's the second argument, but they were not preserved.
SSC is an authority within the meaning of Article 12 of the Constitution and have been enjoined with the task of undertaking the selection process. Last report of the CBI has stated that SSC appointed Messrs. NISA for the purpose of scanning and evaluation the OMR sheets. Messrs. NISA had engaged another organization, Data Scantech, to do so. It is unclear as to whether the new agency had merely scanned the OMR sheets or was instrumental in evaluating the same also or not. Chairman of the SSC, in response to a query, the court has stated that he was not aware of the engagement of Data Scantech in the selection process, and that in fact he became aware of such name only from the court for the first time. No material has been disclosed as to who authorized Mrs. NISA to engage Data Scantech or that such instrumentality was lawfully engaged by SSC.
So what is being held is this, factually, that SSC did not keep a mirror image with them of the OMR sheets. They had engaged NISA to undertake the evaluation of the OMR sheets. And NISA in fact gave it to
Data scan tech.
Data Scantic. They also did not do it.
Yes.
The three disks which were recovered are from NISA or from NISA. NISA must have got that data from Data Scantic because they did it.
No, NISA took the data in its computer, then NISA must have given a copy to
Correct,
them.
correct.
So,
So 1 minute, please. So the data scanning or the OMR sheet scanning is done by Data Scantic, as per you,
as per the finding, yes.
as per the finding given. And that data was then, or the hard disk with regard to that were given to NISA because NISA is authorized by the SSC to undertake that. Yes, please.
Significantly, it is the claim of SSC that scanning of the OMR sheets had taken place at its office. If that be so, then SSC had knowingly allowed another organization to scan the OMR sheets, namely Data Scantech, who was not authorized at all. These raise questions as to the integrity, sanctity, and validity of the entire selection process, and giving to the root of the selection process, the evaluator of the selection process had been selected through a process which at best rooted in mystery, if not downright illegal. Then the conduct of the evaluator is such that it affects the validity of the process of evaluation itself. Significantly, Mrs. NISA had been appointed without an open tender. SSC had selected Mrs. NISA ostensibly on the ground of its being the lowest tenderer from amongst a chosen few who were asked to participate. The parameters qualification required to participate remains undisclosed despite a request being made in court to SSC. No explanation has been provided by SSC in course of hearing as to how and why such a course of action had been undertaken in identifying the instrumentality who was to scan and evaluate the OMR sheets. Documents that have been made available on record does not suggest that competency, efficiency, and whether Mrs. NISA has the requisite expertise to undertake such exercise was not considered by SSC at all. Letter of appointment of Mrs. NISA contains only 2 lines which requires Mrs. NISA to scan and evaluate the OMR sheets. No other terms and conditions of appointment have been specified. The appointment letter has been received by the one employee of Mrs. NISA from the office of SSC. SSC had destroyed the original OMR sheets ostensibly by keeping a mirror image thereof in its server. CBI did not find those mirror images in the server of SSC.
Did the SSC at any time say that they had retained the mirror images?
No.
They never said that.
They never said that.
Under the rules, are they required to maintain?
No.
They are not. But isn't it obvious they should be maintaining that?
Because
1 minute, Mr. Trivedi, that's the question. It should be asked. 1 minute. That's the question because you are also supporting that it's possible to decipher tainted from untainted. You see, the original paper is the OMR sheet. That's a fact. That's a primary evidence.
yes.
If any manipulation is done on the main evidence or main paper, it will be only visible in the OMR sheet. OMR sheets normally we have pencil marking, if I'm not mistaken, or pen marking.
Yes. Pen. Ball pen.
Ball pen. Now what happens is there are cases in which people don't fill up the full question paper, they don't give all answers, so they have possibility of putting those pen marks. You fill up the holes, you block the holes, or that's a possibility which happens. There's also a possibility of changing the OMR sheet. I don't know whether each OMR sheet had a number. We don't even know that. Was it numbered or not numbered?
So that's not been a matter of inquiry.
1 minute, please. We don't even know how did the checking take place, whether the name of the candidate was camouflaged and the top portion was erased, and given for when it was done for checking. Normally, checking is very simple. You just scan it through the computer, and they with your question answer sheet, and it scans. It scans very fast. Doesn't require, it's AI, completely AI. It's not human driven. There is no human checking, except when you want to check. Sometimes what happens is who's marked to, they can mark two also, or you sometimes you find it's difficult whether it's marked or not marked. Some whole the marking by pen is there or not there. The issue would be because the originals are not available. So there is no way we can authenticate whether the original OMR sheets were identical to the scanned OMR sheets which are available on the server.
So the entire inquiry has.
But then how do you, if this is the position, then what is the fault in the finding of the High Court?
No, the submission is this, Lord, that High Court proceeds on the authenticity and legality and validity of the OMR sheets.
No, they do not. Please understand one thing.
So that's how, Lord, the
No, Mr. Devedi, that's why I said there's a difference between 65B certificate. 65B certificate only says that the hard copies which are being downloaded or which are downloaded are the copies, is the copy of the.
No, I'm not on 65. I'm not
that's
on
what-
I'm not on 65B.
But it will not prove that what is scanned and stored in the hard disk is the original of the OMR sheet.
But that
ছোটবেলায় মা আদর করে আমায় মূর্খ বলে ডাকতেন, মূর্খানন্দ। কিন্তু এরা তো সত্যিই মূর্খ ভাবে আমায়। কাস্টম ডিপার্টমেন্টের লোকের ভান করে আমায় ফোন করছে আর খালি বলছে আপনার পার্সেলে ড্রাগস পাওয়া গেছে। সবই বুঝি। প্রথমে ভয় দেখাবে, তারপর বলবে টাকা ট্রান্সফার করুন। এখন ভালোবেসে যে নামেই ডাকুন, তবে আমি মোটেই মূর্খ নই। মনে রাখবেন, ইউপিআই কিন্তু সেফ। তবে কেউ যদি আপনাকেও এভাবে ভয় দেখায় তাকে বলবেন আমি মূর্খ নই।
so the basis of the entire.
We have put that question. Let's see what answer we get.
Yes. My respectful submission is that the
Okay,
basis.
let's read further from 325.
Yes.
The SSC destroyed the original OMR sheet.
OMR sheets ostensibly by keeping mirror image thereof in its server. CBI did not find those mirror images in the server of SSC. These facts have been effectively ruled out, an exercise of shifting the grains from the chaff. The non-cooperative stand of the SSC state and the board had added to the burden. The entire selection process is rooted in such mystery and in such layers that it is difficult to fathom the quantum of illegalities performed. That illegalities had vitiated the selection process of Mrs. Naisa stands established. We have discussed the illegalities so far discovered vitiating the selection process in course of our discussions herein, and will tabulate the same hereafter. The plausible inference from the materials made available on record and the conduct of the relevant party is that the entire machinery was devised for the purpose of effectuating a scam which will be hard to discover and even if discovered difficult to prove. Appointment of Messrs. Naisa, destruction of original OMR and non-availability of are some of the crucial points in the fraud that came to be perpetuated. Now, this finding with great respect, after 2 years and 3 years, if the petitions are filed and the rule doesn't require beyond 1 year, so there's no requirement, my lord, that it should be preserved beyond that point of time. And that is taken as a basic factor, my lord, of holding this fraud. As noted above, in the course of hearing all these matters, SSC, state and board have perseveringly non-cooperated so that even the possibility of trying to separate the grains could be rendered nugatory. What has been produced by the selection process is not a cereal comprising of grains and chaff capable of segregation, but a product unfit for human consumption. Fraud perpetrated is deep and pervasive. Any attempt to shift the proverbial grain from the chaff would be an unprofitable exercise belonging. prolonging the agony and would put premium on dishonesty. Now, based on CBI, well, the report, the whole thing is proceeding, and CBI has pointed out each and every candidate on what respects, on what grounds, his appointment is vitiated. In the facts of the present case, blank OMR sheets have been submitted, and such candidates have been shown to have scored sufficiently higher numbers so as to be recommended for
Is
appointment.
this factually correct? 29.
No, some people who have been appointed.
No, I'm not on that. Is it factually correct that there were some blank OMR sheets and these were shown to have, the candidates were shown to have secured higher marks?
This is not correct, but what has happened is that marks have been increased.
Marks have been increased by
Somebody who got 0.
one. The OMR sheets on correction, on checking were found to have X marks, which were say 50, but the marks which are
Marks
written
in the select list are higher.
higher. But it is not that blank OMR sheets were.
Nobody, even
filled up.
CBI doesn't report this.
Okay.
There's no basis for this. The exact nature of candidates fraudulently given the appointments cannot be identified, more so in the attitude of non-cooperation. There are other manipulation illegalities in the selection process which has come to light. Again, exact number of persons who have benefited out of such manipulation illegalities in the selection process cannot be identified in its entirety. Some have been identified. Identification of some is such that in respect of Group D, 48% has been found to be obtained by manipulation illegalities. The percentages of manipulated illegal appointments across the other three categories are on a reducing scale compared to Group D, but nonetheless sufficiently significant to question the validity of the entire process.
Just we pause here for a little minute. Now come to the order of 7/5/2024.
Yes.
The table at page 13. Paragraph 13 and 14.
Para 13 at page 11 was, or the quoted para 13?
Yes, we can go to the table itself.
From the.
Sorry, not paragraph 13, 16 and 17.
Paragraph 16.
Says, or yes, we can, paragraph 16 and 17.
17 as the.
On 15.
On comparison, just 1 minute. Paragraph 12, which is quoted there in italics. From the
On
CBI
a
report.
comparison of these actual genuine OMR marks with the OMR marks available in the WBSCC server shows that there is
1
manipulation.
minute now. What do you mean by this? On the comparison of the actual genuine OMR marks available
He is referring to not to the OMR sheets recovered from NISA.
recovered from data,
Yes.
not NISA, recovered from data,
Yes.
but available with
The
NISA.
former employee of NISA who was at that relevant time an employee.
Okay, fine. Then the
That's
marks
the basis.
available on the WB.
The select list where the marks are contained. So they are trying to say that marks in some of the candidates are
About
manipulated and
700,
shown higher.
they were shown higher.
Yes. And how many are there? 952 number of candidates of 9 and 10, 907 candidates of so-and-so, 3481 of Group C, 2823 of Group D. So there's a complete identification by CBI.
That's, we are aware of it. We are not,
That during the course of investigation, several emails were found to have been exchanged between the accused officials of the commission, certain private persons and officials of NISA. These emails contain lists of candidates whose OMR marks were found to be increased in the server of the commission. So the emails are there to corroborate that who are those candidates. Besides this, emails have been exchanged between staff and NISA themselves containing manipulated data of candidates. This shows complicity. The above investigation by the CBI indicates that it has found a manipulation in respect of 952 candidates for the selection process of assistant teachers for class 9 and 10. In the case of 907 candidates for class 11, 12, 3481 candidates for Group C and 2823 candidates for Group D. Apart from the above report of CBI, the impugned judgment of the High Court contained in para 240 a reference to the fact that SSC had submitted statistical report of the forced selection processes tabulating the alleged irregularities. The tabulation is produced below for the convenience of reference. So, two authorities both have been, and they have made the basis.
That's one. The figures given in this table,
Yes, for
As per
assistant
the
teacher
SSC
9 and 10.
as per the SEC itself, where there were irregularities committed, are different from the table given by the CBI.
So CBI found
One
more.
minute, 1 minute. So the CBI says is where OMR sheets available, OMR marks available in the OMR sheets, vis-a-vis the marks which were available on the CSS server. The manipulation was in 752 candidates,
Yes,
907 candidates, 3481 candidates,
yes,
and 2823. And if we turn to the list which is given by the SSC, where they say that there were irregularities noticed in tabulation,
yes,
there is a OMR issue in 808. I don't know what is the OMR issue.
OMR issue, Millard, is where the OMR marks and the actual marks in the Pankaj Bansal's 3 discs are not tallied.
Okay. Then there is 771, 783 and 1741, whereas the details given in the CBI are much higher.
But there are small differences, we have reconciled it subsequently.
There's
more or less same will come if all the three.
no, that table doesn't tally. This one which are found by the CBI, they don't tally with the OMR issue. Then there's a rank jumping, and then there's alleged irregularity. What do you mean by alleged irregularity?
That's the sum. OMR plus rank jumping.
That's the sum total of the two?
Yes.
Yes,
Extra is what? Row Millard, it's the same.
Okay, fine. And then there is the case where additional or excess appointments have been made.
Yes.
Irrespective of the marks obtained.
who are beyond the list.
Beyond.
So what I am trying to respectfully submit, Lord, that the two authorities have been able to
Look,
identify.
now the factual situation as it is emerging is this. SSC did not maintain the mirror image. The original OMR sheets are not available. The only evidence with regard to the OMR sheets which are available is in form of scanned OMR sheets, which was done by data and then given to NASA. There is evidence to show that the marking or the marks obtained as per the scanned image of the available data is different from the marks which were entered in the server of the West Bengal Civil Services. There is also, as far as appointment of NASA is concerned, there are irregularities stated. The scanning itself, the process followed, there are irregularities stated. Because data did the scanning purportedly in the office of the SSC, but we don't even know whether the scanned images which were done by data, there are the actual scanned images which were recovered in the form of the hard disks. We don't, 1 minute please. We don't even have that because 65, please, 65B certificate will not say so and will not be able to authenticate. 1 minute, please. Because then you had to need evidence to also show that the hard disks which were recovered by the CBI were the actual hard disks which were installed in the machines or the scanners.
Yes, that is established.
That is going to be difficult. That's going to be very difficult for you to establish. Number two, the metadata in then those scanners will have to be examined to find out whether there was any change in those. Because metadata will give you the date on which it was scanned and uploaded.
So CBI has done.
1 minute, we'll know from the CBI, we'll ask the CBI whether they have done that, we'll know exactly.
They have done
But
extensive.
1 minute. Now, please look at these are the issues which the High Court failed. If these are the facts on record, we cannot now segregate tainted from the untainted cases. Now, meet all these arguments which have been addressed in your own way, and other petitioners can also meet that argument in their own way. We'd now like you to hear you on that, and
So
then
first-
on the second part with regard to the CBI.
So the record which is with.
No clear finding.
In the Supreme Court. Genuine.
Clarification we require. The details of all OMR sheets were found, details of all OMR sheets of the candidates who had
Appeared.
appeared were found in the server, or there was some missing.
So I think.
There seems to be no finding that these three hard disks.
everybody to inspect.
Please hear what I have to say, then you answer. There's no finding anywhere in the judgment that these three hard disks which were recovered contain the OMR data of all the candidates who had applied and appeared for all four categories of posts. They did contain, those three hard disks contain the entire data.
Yes.
There's no finding available anywhere.
Just to satisfy the court's
The
query.
CBI also doesn't say so.
What is the 65B certificate?
That the honorable court
It
directed
says, Pankaj Bansal, from whose custody these three disks are obtained, says all data, including the scanned images of
His saying so is not sufficient. Where is the comparison with your OMR evaluation marks data, which is at least available still with you?
Because our server.
On that basis, do you say anywhere that entire data is available? You don't say so anywhere.
Very small discrepancies, there are nothing.
We hear you, we are not saying. And one more thing which has been mentioned in the High Court judgment, that there was some blank OMR sheets.
Yes, fact.
Is that correct?
Yes. And the
Were there some blank OMR sheets?
report
also?
doesn't, CBI doesn't say that.
That is the affidavit of SSC itself, I show.
That is the guideline also.
Okay.
The public, the
So
public.
these are the issues, you have to now meet those issues.
No, but with respect.
Another important,
Rather not issues, rather these are facts which.
Yes, yes. And,
another important aspect may I clarify, just for,
Let them finish, then we will have it.
give you best.
So, Lord, in greater detail, Lord, this aspect will be dealt with by the commission, Lord. But I am, Lord, submitting, Lord, on a narrow footing, namely that extensive inquiry had been done, one by Justice Bhatt's committee, Lord, which was appointed, the other, Lord, by the.
Tell me why did you create supernumerary post? Why did you?
Yes.
What is the purpose of creating that?
Supernumerary post, Lord, because after Justice Bhatt's report was received,
When was that report received?
just which in April 22.
The report was received after the report said there were irregularities?
Yes, they also found some irregularities, but not as extensive as the CBI report. It was on a narrower. Based on which, Lord, 269 appointments have been invalidated, which then came up in the interim stage to this court. Your Lordship stayed the.
So they found there were irregularities committed. So in order to deal with that situation,
So, Lord, we.
instead of weeding out the persons who had been appointed illegally, you said, okay, create supernumerary post.
For appointing the
No, but
wait list.
Mr. Devedi, tell me one thing.
Wait
If you find irregularities committed, will you not throw them out first?
No, not for them,
But 1 minute.
for
But-
waitlisting.
1 minute. The moment you create supernumerary posts, you are was then ensuring that the persons who are tainted and wrong, who should not have been appointed, their appointment should continue.
No. The order specifically says for appointment from the waitlisted candidate.
Correct? For the reason is
Yes, Papa.
Life doesn't stop for anyone. Even we won't let you stop. At every stage of your life, with LIC, you are always insured. LIC, हर पल आपके साथ.
More so, Lord, this order was challenged in some other petition which is still pending in the High Court, where an interim order was granted staying that order.
Wi-Fi is on. Wi-Fi is
And in
on.
these batch of writ. I'm sorry, but-
Yeah.
hear you last on that. Let's hear the others. We'll hear you last on that. Or second one. We'll hear you on the line on that aspect. We're not closing your right to be heard. We'll hear you in the line.
So I'll keep it.
Because really speaking, that's the second part of the argument. The
Yes.
first part is.
So on this part, Lord, of
I
my,
will hear you, but in the
yes, on the segregation aspect, Lord, I'm working on a narrow ground, Lord, namely that CBI was appointed to hold an extensive exercise pursuant to which, Lord,
So, 88 on.
Go ahead.
Port one new is the port one new. What is the password for the next? No, this is the password. It's new.
Continue, please.
kindly look at two paragraphs, Lord, 229 and 230 of the High Court judgment. The point which I'm making is that CBI has made an inquiry, looked into the OMR sheets, discrepancies, how many are beyond the select list. The Assistant Secretary of SSC has submitted a report in the form of an affidavit in response to the order dated 13th of January 2023, where the number of vacancies declared in Group D posts were tabulated. Number of candidates, I'm so sorry.
No, go ahead, go ahead. I've already
The
read
number
those.
of candidates empaneled and the number of waitlisted candidates were also stated. Significantly, it has been stated that manipulated OMR sheets supplied to SSC by CBI were 2819. Another affidavit in SSC stated that NYASA was an agency appointed by SSC for the purpose of assessing scanning with regard to the third regional levels test 2016 for appointment of Group D staff after receiving the OMR sheet and in compliance with the orders of the court. SSC had checked the OMR sheets and other data supplied by CBI in the form of hard disks, whereupon it appeared that the marks of 2819 OMR sheets were lesser than the marks of the candidates as were kept in the server of the SSC. Out of 2823 candidates in which marks had been manipulated, enhanced 1911 candidates had been wrongly recommended. Then 231 similarly was. So on each aspect, on a comparison, a specified number of candidates identified were pointed out, the number was pointed out, and that has been found in the tabulation. So both CBI and SSC Millers, after getting the OMR sheets, have come out with figures, exact figures. And that's how at page 240 is the table which finds mention in the entry model.
Okay.
All that they say in 242 is that SSC did not discount the fact that possibilities of further illegalities exist. Now, nobody can discount that, but the point is that after extensive inquiry, if specified number of candidates identified have been mentioned, then why should we throw out 25,000 people, my lord, against whom there is nothing? Keeping in mind that the petitions have been filed after 2 years and 3 years.
Number 306.
Yes. CBI in its reports have detailed how Mr. Pankaj Bansal, along with persons in the control and management of Messrs. NISA, kept the mirror images of OMR sheets and were providing data as called for from time to time by SSC. SSC, in fact, had responded to Right to Information Act applications providing OMR sheets to individual RTI applicants claiming that such data was in a database. Affidavits filed by writ petitioners have borne out that such facts. SSC had provided Anindita Behra, writ petitioner, a copy of OMR sheet in January. Sorry?
You don't get interrupted. I've already read this paragraph.
What is being pointed out in 306 is the SSC had taken the stand that they have the mirror images with them. In the affidavits which were filed and when the OMR sheets were supplied, it says the affidavits filed by the petition.
24 also.
Sorry, Vilas?
In January 24 also.
Yes, yes.
That the database was stored in SSC database, was that it was supplied with a sheet on so-and-so from the SSC from its database. And again, from its database. So if they were giving data, the OMR sheets from their database, where did their database of mirror image go?
That's not our affidavit.
And you come to this, that's the one finding, and then you can come to page 305, which is the report, which quotes from the report. Let's read that part also.
I can place the whole of
These are your affidavits filed by the SSC, and the SSC in the response to the Right to Information Act said that OM sheets to individual claiming that data was in its database. That's the finding recorded. The SSC had in the RTI application said that the OMR sheets copies are available in its database. And the affidavits filed with them again say that the OMR sheets are being given are from their database. Whereas now the stand taken by the SSC is they don't have any database of the OMR sheets.
So my learned friend will explain this closer.
Okay, now come to page 245, 305.
Para 305. CBI has filed several reports in these proceedings. In its report dated 5th February 2024, filed in compliance with the order dated 24th January 2024, passed by us, it has stated as follows: that during investigation, it was revealed that the West Bengal Central School Service Commission, hereinafter referred to as Commission, had awarded a work order to Mrs. Naisa Communication Private Limited for scanning and evaluation of OMR answer sheets pertaining to the selection tests of Group D, Group C, and teachers. Investigation has established that Shri Puneet Kumar was the then director and Niladri Prasad was then vice president of the said NISA during a relevant period. It has been established during investigation that Shri Niladri Prasad was in charge of operations in respect of recruitment examinations conducted by the Selection Commission and frequently visited the office of the Commission to attend the actual operation part and did the requisite liaison on behalf of agency for necessary compliance of instructions given by Commission. Shri Puneet Kumar, being director, mainly looked after the financial affairs of the agency and represented it on record. Investigation established that scanning of OMR sheets was undertaken by said NISA at the Commission office at Acharya Sadan under direct supervision of Shri Niladri Das and in presence of the Commission officials. It has been further established that Mrs. NISA Communication Private Limited had further given work order with respect to scanning and the original OMR to Messrs. Data Scan Tech Solutions Noida, who remained present on the premises of the Commission for the scanning work. After completion of scanning, the processed data in the form of scanned image of OMR, scanned data, etc., were handed over by Data Scan Tech Solutions to NISA, who took the same to their offices located at Noida in digital form.
Healthcare everywhere with HDFC Argo's health insurance, which gives you 4 times coverage at no additional cost and 100% claim settlement ratio. 1.5 crore plus happy customers have chosen HDFC Argo. Buy now by visiting www.hdfcargo.com today.
A display is made of multiple layers. Samsung engineered a brand new shear thickening fluid, which adapts to different types of pressure, and coated it onto the display's protect layer. With this STF coating, they were able to remove some layers while maintaining its durability and improving flatness. The result? Galaxy Z Fold 6.
Yes.
So then the next two paragraphs, they're just describing how they proceeded to recover the data. That while scanning the original OMR sheets by Messrs. Data Scan Tech Solutions on behalf of NISA, files were generated containing scan number so-and-so. So that a sample of the DAT file generated during scanning of the OMR sheet is cited as an example below. Responses of candidates in the OMR is appearing as response code in alphabets while it indicates end of one OMR sheet. That 2 such DAT files were generated since scanning is done twice to avoid technical error. Thereafter, a final DAT file is prepared, which is called a clean data file. After receiving the answer keys from the Commission, the same is compared with the final data, and a DBF file is generated having the score of the candidates. That during investigation, server database of the Commission was seized by the Central Bureau of Investigation containing all the data pertaining to selection tests of Group D, Group C, and assistant teachers. That during investigation of the case, 3 hard disks were recovered on 15th and 16th September 22 from the residence of Pankaj Bansal, ex-employee of so-and-so. The certificates of Shri Pankaj Bansal were obtained in triplicate with regard to genuineness of the data contained. That during investigation, data files contained scanned OMR sheets, DAT files, etc., pertaining to aforesaid Commission recruitment matters were also seized from Data Scan Tech. During investigation, the hash values of the data files of Scantech were matched with the hash value of corresponding files recovered from the hard disk seized from Pankaj Balsar and was found to be matching, which establishes that the data contained in the 3 hard disks recovered from persons were not contaminated. This is important. That a similar exercise of matching the data available on the hard disk of Pankaj Bansal with the data seized from the commission was done during the course of investigation, and it was found that there were mismatch between the two inasmuch as the written marks awarded to candidates as available on the server of the commission had been increased to qualify undeserving candidates. This mismatch establishes that manipulation in marks of written examination in the case of many candidates was resorted to and such candidates were identified. The comparison of these actual genuine OMR marks with the OMR marks available in the server shows that there is manipulation in 952 numbers of candidates, 907, and these figures your lordships have seen. That during the course of investigation, several emails were found to have been exchanged between the accused officials of the commission, certain private persons, and officials of NISA. These emails contained list of candidates whose OMR marks were found to be increased in the server of the commission. Besides, this email have been exchanged between the staff of NISA themselves containing manipulated data of candidates. This shows complicity of officials of NISA in this conspiracy. That during investigation, it emerged that during 2019, Shri Niladri Prasad left NISA and started his own business in name and style of ND Info Systems, Noida, and was engaged in the business of data processing in line of Mrs. NISA. The said Niladri Prasad poached Pankaj Bansal, Kuldeep Singh, Anoy Saha, Muzammil Hussain, and others support staff from NISA. It has emerged from investigation that before leaving NISA, Niladri Prasad and his staff have retained all the data pertaining to recruitment examinations, including data group C, so-and-so, and teachers with them. Even after leaving NISA, Niladri Prasad, Pankaj Bansal, and Muzammil Hussain kept providing assistance to Commission in matters of RTI on the basis of data of NISA, which was manipulated and also hosted in the Commission server. This also establishes that Faz, Bansal, and Hussain who were involved in the entire scam, it was in their knowledge. The data has been manipulated and therefore they continue to extend assistance solely to avoid detection. That if there would have been no manipulation, the scanned images of OMRs available with Commission were sufficient to respond to RTI queries. Investigation revealed that Commission has destroyed the original MR sheets and the scanned images of original MR sheets in the year 2019.
One minute, this is important. This says the commission destroyed the original images, the original MRs and scanned images of OMR sheets in the year 2019. So the commission had made scan of the OMR sheets.
Yes.
But there is no requirement to be retained for all time.
That's something separate. I'm not on that. We are not on that. But there were scanned images of the OMR sheets which they had retained.
Yes, the original OMR sheets and both were there according to this report.
Leads to an inference that
which again leads to an inference that the same were destroyed to keep the matter under wraps. That investigation establishes that as a reward for doing aforesaid manipulation in the OMR score, Messrs. NDISPL of Niladri was provided work for recruitment of teachers in upper primary conducted by Commission. Apart from this, many other recruitment works are also assigned to Niladri Das by the government of Bengal. Various lists of candidates related to upper primary were communicated to Niladri Das in Sena. Sharmila Mitra were found in the email of Niladri Das, which shows his criminal conduct. The result of comparison of these records collected from data Scantech with that of hard disk seized from Pankaj Bansal. A, as discussed in the preceding paragraphs, the hard disk recovered contains the marks of written examination, typing tests, etc. This marks, when compared with marks available in Commission server, resulted in the identification of candidates whose marks of written examination, typing tests were manipulated. Messrs. Data Scantex made the initial scanned images. These scanned images were given to NISA. Pankaj Bansal retained a copy of the scanned images. That in connection with candidates of class 9 and 10, 11, 12 scanned images of OMR sheets as collected from data scan tech solutions pertaining to the alleged candidates whose OMR sheets were found manipulated were matched with the scanned image.
Now, this also shows that there was OMR marks were found manipulated were matched with the scanned images available on the hard disk, and the same were found to be identical.
Yes.
So 1 minute. What do you mean by this? The contention of the candidate so and so, the scanned images was as collected from so and so pertain to alleged candidates whose OMR sheets were found manipulated were matched with the scanned images of.
So data scan tech and the hard disk of the Pansal,
Okay.
both are matching.
The response string of the candidates.
The response string of candidates pertaining to 9, 10, 11, 12 as recovered from data scan tech matches with the response string available in the hard disk seized from Pankaj Bansal. On the basis of these response strings, the actual genuine OMR marks of 9, 10 were determined. The comparison of these actual genuine marks with the OMR available in the commission server shows that there is manipulation in 952 numbers of candidates of 910 and 907 candidates of so-and-so. The response string of candidates pertaining to Group C, Group T as recovered from Messrs. Data Scan Tech Solutions matches with the response string available in the hard disk seized from Pankaj Bansal. On the basis of these responsive strings, the actual genuine OMR marks of Group C and Group D.
For the corrected answer. The suggested corrected answer. That's a response string.
The marks as they
Is that
exist.
correct? Or it stands for something else?
What is it? I should know. So the answers which are there in the scanned and these are both matching.
Okay.
The key answer.
The key answer, the correct key answer is the response string. If the response string is the key answer, correct key answer.
Individual answer. Response string, I may not be 100% correct. I asked my briefing counsel yesterday, we are private candidates. When you answer, they put a line like this to your dots in the OMR sheets. For example, AB.
Okay, they put that line so that nobody can change it.
That response string is then fed into some evaluation software. And that is what a response string, as explained to me.
No, but the response string is not put by the candidate or is put by the.
No, not by candidate. Not by candidate. That is not by candidate, it is done at some process of evaluation.
That's a evaluation, that's a computer AI generated.
What they have explained to me.
Okay.
The board has, but I asked them the same thing yesterday, what is the response? And that other thing which was matched, that data frequency, is they explained to me that every file which we read has a particular frequency. And so, hash value, that every file has a particular hash value.
Not the frequency.
So, no, hash value. So that somehow anyway, I'll try to put it together on my turn as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Then if that by investigation established that the genuineness of data of artists seized from Pankaj Bansal, that in compliance with the solemn order dated so-and-so, this 3 hard disks in original seized from the residence of Pankaj Bansal along with certificate under Section 65B of Indian Evidence Act obtained from Pankaj Bansal are being submitted before this court. The 3 hard disks are in sealed condition. The certificate of so-and-so in original is obtained. The Honorable Division Bench at High Court directed CBI on 24/1 for production of the above mentioned 3 original hard disks seized from Bansal, and in compliance with the direction, all the 3 hard disks were returned back by PFSL Hyderabad in sealed condition and are now being produced with this report. That the present status of all the above mentioned 4 recruitment cases is disposed of from investigation.
Okay, enough. That's all.
Therefore, what I'm trying to submit based on the CBI report is.
Yeah, Mr. Anybody else who else will like to start?
That other point I'm reserving, in case.
But I appear for the commission, but we are here to assist. Everybody who was found involved in the scam have been proceeded against. They are serving jail time somewhere. So, there is a completely new organization before your lordship, and we are here only to assist. We are concerned that 25,000 people may lose their jobs, where some people were admittedly involved in wrongdoing, but not everybody was. So, my lord, we filed affidavits before the court saying that it is possible to find out which are the tainted candidates. We also said so before this honorable court. And now, my lord, the CBI also takes the same stand. There are 3 or 4 aspects on which, my lord, it has been found that there may have been wrongdoing. My lord, we had certain data with us to start with, and my lord, that has been subsequently again reconciled. There is a little difference here and there, but ultimately, my lord, we have been able to reconcile most of the data. Now, the fact is that the OMR sheets were, my lord, there are 26 lakh candidates in each batch of these examinations. And, my lord, these examinations are held from time to time. So, my lord, it is not possible to store that volume of, my lord, OMR sheets. The rules provide that they are to be destroyed mandatorily. They shall be destroyed in 1 year's time. If, of course, some dispute arises, then they can be preserved. But in this case, no dispute arose till 2021. This is, my lord, the batch of 2016, advertisement of 2016. And, my lord, the process was completed and the persons concerned took office, my lord, in 2019. The writ petitions came to be filed in 2021. And the panel had also expired by that time. It had been extended briefly, but it had expired by then. Now, my lord, your lordship has seen, therefore, the original OMR sheets are not there. However, 2 sets of data are available. One is NISA scanned and my lord, prepared the mirror images of the OMR sheets. That was the job given, that's the first part of the job given to NISA. My lord, no job was given to data scan. The fact that NISA was using people from an organization called Data Scan to sit in the office of SSC and do the actual job, my lord, was not brought to the attention of the SSC at any stage, is what we have stated. So, my lord, as far as we are concerned, everybody we dealt with was NISA, was either a person employed by NISA or authorized by NISA, my lord, but they were all NISA. Now, NISA had mirror images. So, my lord, in the initial stages, when people made RTI inquiries, we obtained those mirror images and gave answers. But, my lord, subsequently, when my lord, it became clear that this should be kept separately, my lord, we did not give any such answers thereafter. It is not an affidavit of the commission that states that we maintain mirror images. 24th January is not an affidavit of, my lord, the commission. The commission has filed, my lord, 4 affidavits, the dates of which I'll give you, lordship, my lord. 24th is not.
Not an affidavit, your communication to that.
That's right, my lord. So therefore, my lord.
That you said that it is from your database.
So therefore, my lord, the database of NISA was also taken into consideration.
Your database.
Yes, yes. Because, my lord, they were authorized to do this job, my lord, on our behalf. So then, my lord, when the discrepancies arose, my lord, CBI took custody of, my lord, our server, which does not contain, my lord, any mirror images.
Five to 27 lakh candidates in each category.
22 lakhs candidates. Miller, I think 22, Miller. May not be 26, but there were 22 lakh candidates.
They need that.
Or all together?
There are 4, Miller, posts here. There are 4 categories of posts. One is, Miller, up to 10, then 11, 12. Those 2 are, Miller, teaching posts. And then, Miller, there is Group C and Group D, which are, Miller, non-teaching posts.
So we wanted to know whether there were 27 or 22 lakh candidates in each category or...
No. All together, Miller, what this batch, this entire batch, Miller, we are dealing with
22 lakh.
at 22 lakhs, Miller, examinees. Approximately, Miller, there would be, we can give exact figures also, Miller. The figures are maintained.
And the names of the candidates were erased or what?
No. Nothing is erased.
No. In the OMR sheet, the name of the candidate.
In the OMR sheets maintained by NISA is a scanned image.
In that scanned image, the name of the candidate is mentioned?
No, because, Miller, that is, Miller, the answer sheet. They would not write the name of the candidate on the answer sheet.
Yeah.
थैंक यू बोलना था कि सर थैंक यू टू गॉड भी है सर मेरे को इधर उधर भटकाया नहीं मैं सीधा आफ्ता में ही आ गया सर वो जब सुनता हूँ ना लोगों से कि कोई इतना लाख का लॉस किया उतना लाख का लॉस किया तो थैंक यू गॉड कि मेरे को उधर नहीं जाना पड़ा सर
Codes, Miller.
The QR code.
Yes, QR.
We have the OMR sheet, so the names and signatures are there,
Everything.
And roll number.
Miller,
OMR sheets are there?
yes,
Blank, they were given in court, not for inspection. Nobody came. And not only, it's published by the server. We need to
Miller, page 246 of the judgment gives an idea, Miller, because there, Miller, the CBI, Miller, has given the report, Miller. Page 3, para 305, 245, your lordship has seen, Miller.
They have seen that.
Barcode, roll number, venue code, booklet, and Miller, just before that,
That's 40.
246, if your lordship sees, Miller. Para 6.
The scan number, barcode, roll number, venue code, booklet serial number, subject code, category, gender, medium,
Gender, medium. And Miller, please see the paragraph immediately preceding that while scanning the original OMR sheets by Data Scan Tech Solutions on behalf of NISA, 2 .dat figures files were generated containing scan number, barcode, etc. etc.
Yes, please.
No, that is before. 1 minute. Para 289, my lord.
But normally, tell me one thing.
Yes, ma'am.
When you scan a data, then shouldn't you be maintaining the scan data yourself before you give a copy to the other side for the checkers to verify that? You normally, what will you do? You keep a data with yourself. Because once you scan, then the marking is done immediately. There's hardly any time gap between marking and scanning.
Not sure. Miller, the page 236.
The marking and scanning was done simultaneously.
Yes, by NISA itself, Miller.
So then you should have retained everything with yourself.
Miller, we are.
Look, please, it's very simple.
Yes.
Marking and scanning is done simultaneously.
Yes.
So then you retain the data with yourself.
Miller, we retained, Miller. What we retained in the server is, Miller.
No. What you did not retain, what has been found is with NASA and data.
Not data scan. Data scan does not come into the picture. It has come from NISA.
He separated himself. After. But later. When the scanning was done, that data, the person of the person who was Pankaj Bansal was an employee of NASA.
Yes.
But was he working with or he had started data?
Miller, these facts, Miller, we are not able to verify. CBI has found that at some stage he was working for data scan but Miller.
I saw data started.
The SSC doesn't know anything.
India.
All
right,
let us put it very clearly.
Let me place, my lord.
Just one-
Para 33.
In case scanning and marking was done simultaneously,
Yes,
then you should have retained that data with you.
yes. My lord,
After all, it's
as I
just
said,
in
my lord,
the-
I can only assist post facto, my lord. Whatever your lordships decide, my lord, I
You're
can only
making the
assist
stand
post.
very clear.
Yes.
You're
So
not
page-
wanting to take any particular position. You say you want,
No, my position, my lord, is
is
that,
it's possible to.
that it is possible to segregate
But
because there are
then,
two.
look, the question today is not only that, the
Yeah.
question today is authenticity.
Yeah. Now
Of
that
the-
authenticity,
Authenticity
yes,
of the data as found or the scanned images as found in the three hard disks.
yes.
That itself is the subject matter.
Yes, my lord. My learned friends are saying that you cannot rely upon that data, my lord. That is true. In that case, my lord, we are only left with the
only
server.
option is what the High Court did.
No, my lord. Then the only option is to go by the server, which is
No.
maintained by the SSC.
No, but your server is zero.
No, server has all the final data, my lord.
No.
Roll number and mark.
No, that is all manipulated.
You know,
That's all been-
manipulated. If we look at, my lord, what Pankaj Bansal has provided.
Look, there is certainly manipulation done at your side. Whether any manipulation was done at Pankaj Bansal's side is still unknown. If we go by the prosecution case, as per the CBI, Pankaj Bansal will probably, in case there is no manipulation done, nobody will be able to, on the basis of evidence, do anything. If your employees are concerned, they will be in a problem. Because there's a difference between the data. What has been highlighted is the difference between the data maintained in the servers and what is uploaded in your mark sheet, which is uploaded.
No, my lord. The server is ours. The server is SSC
Correct,
server. And my lord, the three hard disks are the hard disks which are
Of Bansal.
which have been taken from.
But there is a mismatch between the data in the hard disk
Yes,
and the data over here.
there is the mismatch. Correct. So, my lord, it is my.
Okay, anybody else?
My lord, now, my lord, just two more things. My lord, we have now done the reconciliation. I need to just point that out to your lordship, my lord. Kindly see, my lord, two things. One is our written submission, which is part of volume 6. It's a short written submission. Volume 6, my lord.
When did the new management come?
2022. 2022, and my lord, there is a so-called convenience compilation, my lord.
Given digitally. It's given digitally. Pen drive में दिया है कल. उसका volume. Page 40.
Page 14,
14.
1/4.
Volume 6, page 40.
Page 14 of the volume 6 of the convenience compilation is a short note that we have filed to carry out the segregation. If your lordship is satisfied that it is possible, then my lord.
No, the difficulty today is
Yes.
we can't even vouch for the authenticity of the OMR data. Though there the hash values have not.
Nobody is saying.
Though
Yes.
the hash values over there have not undergone change. If
Yes.
one looks at the data which is available,
Yes.
who's appearing for anybody appearing for the CBI?
Yes, my lord. CBI is also here.
Tell me one thing, were you able to ascertain the date on which the OMR data was captured? What's the date? Metadata says which date? Can you check it up and let us know by 2 o'clock? What was the date on that?
Milord, it should have been, Milord, the original date itself. When they scanned sitting in the office of SSC.
On that, we would like to have that.
And also whether you have the full data of those 20 and odd lakh.
22 lakhs
22
candidates.
Status report before the High Court that I have.
All the data. No, it doesn't say so in clear words. Just check with them whether it does.
That whether the hash values indicate the date on which the data was captured. And whether there was any change in the data thereafter.
So, Milord, please come to Milord. We have given the judgments. I don't have to trouble your lordship with that just now. Paragraph 3 are the judgments, Milord.
We don't have to go through the judgment.
Yes, your lordship doesn't, Milord. I just wanted to add one, which is the most recent judgment.
The ratio is known, the judgments are not required though. The ratio is well established.
Yes.
So we are proceeding on that ratio, legal principle.
True, Milord. Your lordship is proceeding on that basis. Just for completeness, Milord, the last of the judgments is 2024, volume 9 SCC, 763. 2024, 9 SCC, 763, 743, para 62. This is Vanishka Jadhav. That is in addition to what is given in para 3.
Okay, fine.
Now, Milord, kindly see the manner in which, Milord, or what is the result of our exercise from paragraph 6 onwards. Commission prima facie noticed, first of all, Milord, even before CBI comes into the picture, Commission prima facie noticed that there were candidates who can be said to have appeared to have jumped their ranks. That is to say, people having lower rank have been preferred over persons having a higher rank. It was also prima facie seen that some candidates have been recommended and appointed without being in the panel or appointed without recommendation. Then, Milord, as far as assistant teachers 9-10 are concerned, 74 are rank jumped and out of panel 111, etc. We came to the conclusion that there are irregularities in respect of 1,212 persons on this basis. Then, Milord, para 7 talks about, Milord, the figures which have come from the CBI investigation. Even in the investigation by the CBI, it has been found that some appointments were alleged to be manipulated by manipulating the OMR scores. So, Milord,
বাবা বলেছিলেন ইঞ্জিনিয়ার হয়েছি, হাজবেন্ড তাও হয়েছি, কিন্তু মূর্খ এটা তো বলেননি।
52 and 907. Milord, the CBI found that there was a mismatch of OMI score as between, Milord, the hard disk and our server. 952, 907, 3481, 2823. But, Milord, out of that 952, the only 808 was in fact appointed. So, Milord, we don't have to, Milord, take into account those who have not been appointed. The figures, if we take those who are appointed, Milord, are correctly reflected as 808, 772, 782, and 1911. Then, Milord, the CBI has also, Milord, relied on the same data. And only one more thing I need to point out, Milord, that on 2nd of August, after the order of this Honorable Court,
We'll go by High Court
on 2nd of August, we filed, Milord, an interim application giving, Milord, the complete details of the persons concerned with names. That is, Milord, IA 171058 of 2024, dated 2nd of August 2024. And in this, Milord,
Yes, please.
Milord, in that, Milord, your lordship will find that each of these 4 categories, my lord, under each category, my lord, we have given names in the annexures as to what is the nature of the my lord, irregularity which has been noticed.
Okay.
As far as
That's all?
yes, my lord.
Okay, yes.
My lord, that 24th January is not
I
our
thought you are paying for the board?
no. SSC, my lord, is the commission. We are, my lord, the examining body, the recommending authority. Results are given out.
But
And my lord,
then it's very strange. One thing is very strange. That people who are not even recommended or who are not qualified, how did that happen? They were issued letters.
my lord, those are the irregularities, my lord, which have been documented.
No, I know, but that's very strange also. I can understand manipulation in the results and that leading to, letters of appointment.
My lord, we are not
But
here,
in
my
this
lord.
case, it's more than that, even when they were not.
My lord, we are not here to defend that one. My lord, they are in custody. The persons who are involved are in custody.
Goes up to the education minister.
We are not here to defend that. We are trying to see, my lord, whether we can save.
All the same, it's a very, very serious thing.
Very serious.
Of course, it's a serious thing, my lord. They are in custody, my lord, today.
Okay, yes.
Now, my lord, my learned friend is just telling me, my lord, that 24th of January is not our affidavit, my lord. That your lordship has.
Letter.
It is a letter given in response to an RTI.
Correct.
And there, my lord, we were relying on the data which was lying with NISA.
You say it's in our database.
Sorry, my lord?
In your database.
My lord, because, my lord,
So you are now identifying with Pankaj Bans.
no, my lord, we are not identifying. But, my lord, they were the people who were doing this particular part of the job for us.
This was re-given.
No, we don't.
That's it.
My lord, it's very, very. If it is necessary.
Stand can be, it's incorrect information.
My lord, no, my lord. Kindly let me just make one my lord, statement to your lordship. Every individual case that your lordship wishes to go into, my lord, I will give an answer. Because there are several situations where, my lord, something is given and then later on it is re-asked for, it's re-given.
The difficulty is this.
Yes.
What is made with the High Court, we're not saying one way or the other. What is made with the High Court is we cannot even authenticate the original database, whether it's reflective of the true OMR sheets, and there are indications and factors into account which create doubt about the original database.
So, my lord, correctly. My lord, but the High Court, my lord,
whether it's right or wrong, that's something for us.
But, my lord, the High Court does in fact accept the CBI report.
No, it doesn't. It uses that as a basis. CBI report is limited to the effect that there is a mismatch between the appointments and the database.
No, my lord, numbers also.
If mismatch means all that.
Yes. So, my lord, CBI also is proceeding against.
CBI has not been able to ascertain and go into the question because there, in criminal matters, the benefit of doubt is available, proof beyond reasonable doubt is a present.
All that will come later.
Civil matters, here we apply the principle of probabilities, which is very different.
However, my lord, at the end of that exercise, my lord, what I am submitting is, at the end of that exercise, there will still be a large number of persons, my lord, around 25,000.
Only question which you have to answer, if we get the answer, that the database which was available, is the actual authentic database of the OMR sheets or not, we'll be able to ascertain.
My lord, that the CBI says it is the authentic database, my lord. My lord, your lordship will.
They have not been able to ascertain that. They have left it blank.
No,
they have left it neutral.
That's the basis of saying, my lord, actual.
They have left it neutral. Because and that's a role of an investigating agency.
Yes.
Because where they're not able to ascertain it, because they could have only ascertained it on the basis of original OMR sheets. There they have not been. But I'm still worried about blank OMR sheets question, whether that's correct or not.
That's correct. That's documented.
Whether if you have a blank OMR sheet,
it is not enough to.
Then the possibility of change of OMR sheet.
No, my lord. There is no such case. My lord, let me just indicate one thing, my lord. Suppose there are blank OMR sheets, my lord, in the scanned copies. Milord, what is the marks which have been given to
No,
that?
no. Then when we know from the other side, we.
Yes.
Yes,
It's not enough to say there is a blank sheet. It must be shown that that blank sheet led to somebody getting 100 marks
Correct.
and getting appointed.
yes.
This one side. The mail letters after the board.
Please, Millards. I appear for the board with my learned friend, Mr. Sanjay Ghosh, Millards. So this was a Mahabharat which required 2 Sanjays, and I see a third.
No, that's not the way. It's.
Please, Millards. Well, your lordships is grappling with the question of whether things can be desegregated, whether it is absolutely necessary to throw out everything, or is the data in such a shape that it would support the CBI case? Because ultimately, my lords, if your lordships were not to accept the data, then it would also probably impact the CBI case. So we have to
No, please.
We have to proceed on the basis.
One minute. I think you are basing your case slightly differently.
Please, my lords.
Everybody who's argued till now says accept the CBI data, but on the basis of the CBI data, don't throw everybody out. Segregate and apply the CBI data and segregate. That's the case.
That's the same thing.
Are you making a different case?
I'm also saying the same thing.
That's the way everybody's argued.
Please, my lords. Please, my lords. And like based on the CBI's own written submissions, my lords, I thought we should do a reverse exercise.
Look,
how much
said,
is untainted?
100, please. The civil matter is slightly different from the criminal matter.
I take it, my lords, and
the standard of proof, the principles of proof are intact. Findings recorded by the High Court proceed on the CBI findings, but they go beyond that.
Please, I take it, and my lords, I have a limited role in as much as I made almost all the appointments based on recommendations from the commission. There are a few cases which are not on recommendations. That's the allegation. That's a separate thing. My concern, more than the jobs, is to have continual education in the state of West Bengal.
No, you can't. I'm sorry, Mr. Hegde, we will not permit that argument to be made for the simple reason, in case either we accept the judgment or we accept your proposition that it's possible to segregate. Third argument, that this education is to be provided and therefore ignore that.
I'm not asking your lordships to bless everything. Let me put it that way. I'm not asking for a total absolute. I just want to bring the consequences. And my lords, first let's see what is the nature of the problem. If your lordship can kindly take the chart which I've handed over. This is as per the CBI's own data, my lords. Now I've segregated it according to the posts. Now, as far as the assistant teachers from the 9th and 10th standards are concerned, the CBI data when totaled up comes to 979 out of 13,056 vacancies. So the untainted in the 9th and the 10th is 92.
This includes the additional ones also appointed?
Please, my lords, everything.
This includes the additional ones who are appointed or without the additional ones?
All based on the. No. So therefore, my lords, the figure of untainted appointments is as high as 92% in the 9th and 10th. As far as the assistant teachers for the 11th and 12th are concerned, untainted is again just 5% less, 87 in 0.31%. So there are 730 vacancies. The real problem arises in Group C and Group D. And there, my lords, the untainted as far as Group C is concerned is 52 and Group D is 49. They are all identified, my lords, and it is to that extent it is severable. My lords, I take your lordship's caution about the consequences But may I venture to state, my lords, that recruitment of teachers, there's almost no state where there haven't been problems. There haven't. I've appeared in cases from Uttar Pradesh, and I don't want to perpetuate. I don't want to perpetuate, my lords. I come from a family of teachers. I understand the problems of having bad teachers. But here, where the majority is 92% and 87% who are untainted, who have got a job. At this stage, my lords, to undo everything, that may be a bit harsh, my lords. So therefore, where a segregation exercise is demonstrably possible, then please, my lords, Mr. Ghosh is right when the last recruitments are 2016. We are in 2024, and if we were to restart the commission and everybody were to restart the exercise after this, there would be we also have the attrition factor of retirements, resignations, and all that. So, please, my lords.
Okay, that's all. Yes, please.
Please, my lords. Yes, and then that was one administrative thing also, my lords. The academic year for this year, February exams start, board exams, so it's after May or someplace. When the process for this year begins.
You please tell us you are appearing for class C and D or teachers.
My lords,
No, others. You are appearing for everyone.
I'm sorry.
I beg to appear for the petitioner in item 1.2.
No, you are C, D, which class are you?
Group 9 and 10 and Group C.
Group C.
Group C,
52.77%.
one candidate.
52.77%.
I am appealing for some kind.
What happens is, half is gone.
Let me start with
I don't know whether दाल में काला है कि सब कुछ ही काला.
My lords have very prettily put the issue. The important issue is in regard to the very authenticity of the documents which have been relied on. This Honorable Court on 9th November passed an order which required the authenticity of the documents to be seen. 9th November 2023.
By 65B.
The matter goes back to the division bench, and at page 900 of the compilation on 19 January proceedings, the division bench notes that this is the issue which has to be gone in Supreme Court action. The CBI sends the documents for verification to CFSI. Sends a report that they are not able to look into the authenticity of the documents because they are too bulky. This is noted in the proceedings of 24 January 2024. On 5th February, an affidavit is filed by CBI under Section 65B, and a status report is also filed in regard to documents which have been seized on September 16, 2022. This certificate had not seen the light of day from September 16, 2022 till 5th February 2024. In spite of several days of arguments in this Honorable Court where Mr. Patwalia had appeared and Miller the matter, at no stage any of these had been produced. Now, Miller, the division bench of the High Court says Article 12 authorities have accepted the authenticity of these data furnished by CBI and they are not questioning it. We, the affected candidates, were never given an opportunity to see even these documents. One day, some.
No, this is wrong.
No,
That's incorrect.
Look, we will not go into this way of line of reasoning for the simple reason. In a writ petition, you need not, in a case of this nature, need not impede all the successful candidates. It will become impossible, unavailable. Everybody knows about the litigation. If they want to come forward, they can come forward. We'll not permit that. We'll not go into that. There has to be some class action litigation where we apply order 8, order 1, rule 8 and proceed accordingly. There's going to be some limitations on that, on applying the principles of natural justice like that. Anyway, we are hearing it.
We, the affected candidates, no, should be given some opportunity at some stage. Please see, when this honorable court specifically directed this to be gone into, how the High Court has approached
this. Will be very difficult if we accept that. Otherwise, we'll have to make all 22 lakh candidates party.
No, but not 22 lakh candidates. It is only in respect of the appointed candidates. Selected and appointed. No, but our appointment cannot be set aside.
Our Babu, etc., take all that into account. They say either review or revision. That's the right view. He'll follow.
No, today the situation is there is a
please argue on the merits. Please argue on the merits. We're not rolling the wheel backwards.
My respectful submission is there is no finding by any authority, independent authority, in regard to the authenticity of the document. It is because persons who, according to the petitioners, have been involved.
The facts on record are very clear. That's why we went very slowly when it came to the facts. The SSC, there's some affidavits say that we have the record, but they now say that they did not keep the mirror image. 1. OMR sheet, physical forms, not available. OMR sheets were scanned and also checked and evaluated in the office of the SSC. But they did not keep the hard disk with them. Their hard disks are found with 2 other places. They are matching. How did the 2 develop? Whether they were done simultaneously, what happened, we don't know. CBI will tell. There is also indication that the marks available on the, as per the OMR sheets on the hard disk, and the marks available and allotted to the candidates, as per the of data available with West Bengal's commission are different. Now, it raises another question. Whether there were another OMR sheets which were clearly reflecting the same marks as the OMR sheets, as the 3. 65B certificate, it serves no purpose. Let me put it, 65B certificate only says this is the hard disk. That's all.
Or this taken away by an employee to his private residence.
That's all.
And not recovered from the place where it would have been.
It's not even recovered from the company which was given the task. So that's all the more serious.
Then in which case
it dents the whole case. It in fact dents the whole process of recruitment itself.
No, but the conclusion that it is tainted cannot be arrived at on the basis of the tainted evidence. If the evidence is tainted, how do we come to the conclusion that the examination or selection is tainted? With the greatest respect, what my lords have pointed out shows that the evidence is not authentic. If the evidence is not authentic, one can't draw a conclusion that the appointments are bad. The entirety of the appointments are bad. But that will not, with the greatest respect, will be doing injustice.
Is a double-edged sword, it may hurt you.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
The argument you are raising is a double-edged sword, it may hurt your clients.
I am respectfully submitting. Today, prosecution has been initiated. The genuineness of these certificates, authenticity of documents, etc., are all to be gone into there. Today, this conclusion which has been arrived at on the basis of which our appointments have been set aside on a wholesale manner, that cannot possibly be substantiated by this kind of evidence. That is a matter which is going to be gone into in the prosecution. Kindly, therefore, avoid that. Do not go ahead. Otherwise, I will demonstrate how these the authenticity of these documents have not been established, and therefore, on that basis, please do not afford. High Court, in my respectful submission, has failed to carry out the mandate of this Honorable Court's directions of 9th November. That is the principal submission that I want to make. Therefore, this is a matter which needs consideration on that account. I want to show those.
Okay, show us the 9th November order.
Yes, page
734. And the report of the CBI.
Yes, page 734. 734, I believe, minute of the common compilation.
Volume 3.
Yes, volume 3.
9th November.
Yes, please.
This the Honorable Bench of this Honorable Court, after hearing substantially, kindly have a look at the order pass. At page,
what is the date of the order? 9th?
9th November.
November 23.
9th November 2023.
23. Yes, please.
Yes.
Go down to the relevant portion.
I'm sorry.
Go to the relevant portion.
Yes, ma'am. Relevant portion, paragraph 5. Main argument, so far as this batch of proceedings are concerned, have revolved around the admissibility of certain scanned copies of OMR sheets. The High Court found...
No, this is not required. To be very frank, 65B certificate is not really the main question.
No, I'm not even on...
Come down to the...
I'm not even on 65B certificate. I'm on authenticity. High Court found substantial difference.
বড়দিনের ছোট ছোট আনন্দ কি জানেন? একটু শীতের আমেজ, কোজি ফ্যামিলি টাইম, জমিয়ে আড্ডা আর তার সঙ্গে খুশির ডেলিভারি। এই না হলে ক্রিসমাসের স্বাদ, বিসফার্ম ফেস্টিভ ফিয়েস্টা কেক, খুশির ডেলিভারি।
From an ex-employee of the agency, which was entrusted with the task of evaluation of the OMR sheets. Employees whose services are sought to be terminated questioned the authenticity of these scanned images, and it is also the case
that this is a government based because CBI may not be a party over here. No, CBI may not have appeared on 9th of November.
No.
May not have appeared on 9th of November.
CBI appeared. CBI appeared.
Okay, fine.
CBI had appeared and made...
May not have filed the counter at that stage. So somebody must have said CBI has recovered, because what is stated is CBI claims to have...
Some of my colleagues...
Anyway, read further. Read further. Read further, please.
She appeared as impotent.
ASG, Mr. Raju had appeared, I believe. I think para 3.
Okay, fine. Read further.
Yes, Mr. Raju, it's there in para 3. Mr. Raju, learned additional solicitor, has submitted that altogether 4 reports which are all...
Okay, read further.
Yes. Now, para 5.
Just go up a little, we'll read the sentences. Sir.
Yes. Now, kindly see, in our opinion, para 8.
Yes.
May read para 7 and 8.
Yes, please.
We have heard the submissions made by the Learned Senior Counsel and Learned Additional Solicitor General appearing for the respective parties, and are of the view that the substantive hearing of all the proceedings which have generated this set of appeals petitions before this court ought to be conducted by the High Court only. We are apprised that all the petitions from these so except so are still pending before the High Court. We have briefly described the nature of orders being passed by the High Court at the interim stage earlier in this order. In our opinion, piecemeal proceedings are not warranted in relation to the disputes of this dimension, and termination of service of candidates at the interim stage before the final dismissal of the writ petition also ought to have been avoided. Having regard to the nature of the controversy involved in these proceedings, it was necessary for the High Court to examine the admissibility of the OMR sheet images recovered by the CBI before placing full-scale reliance on them in directing termination of services of the concerned employees. This is not even done by the High Court. I'll show. We are not suggesting that in cases of gross irregularities directed in appointment of certain individuals, termination at the interim stage is altogether impermissible. If some grave error in the appointment can be demonstrated, services can be terminated in the interlocutory stage. But in the present set of proceedings, at this stage, unsuccessful candidates have not been able to make out such outstanding case at the interim stage. Investigation by the CBI is yet to be completed. Argument of corrupting the original OMR sheet is yet to be supported by cogent evidence. In none of the orders impugned before us, there is no clear-cut finding that there was distortion in OMR sheet evaluation.
But then it was the state where West Bengal and SSC also party. So they didn't say that OMR sheets are not available. Why did they not say that?
No, but the mirror image.
1 minute, please. At this stage, the argument proceeds on the basis that it has to be collated with the original OMR sheets, the physical OMR sheets. They were as if they were.
The mirror image, which is said to be retained in the data.
There is no
computer.
mirror image also.
This was the arguments after here. This was the finding after here.
Just read that carefully. Just read that sentence carefully once again.
Today, at this stage, we are not sitting in judgment over these.
No, we are not. We are not. We are just referring to what was argued by the parties at that time.
Yes, and what was the conclusion? This is the argument of corrupting the original is said to be supported by cogent evidence. Yes. It's a finding. Yes. It's a finding. In none of the orders impugned before us, there is a clear-cut finding that there was no clear-cut finding that was distortion in OMR sheet evaluation. Question of exercise of power under the aforesaid three rules also arise out of discovery of electronically stored OMR sheets. Serious allegations have been made of manipulation of records in exchange of money, but these allegations would have to be established through evidence. It is also our opinion, considering the importance of the points of law involved in these cases, number of persons who are likely to be affected by the outcome of these proceedings, and also having regard to the fact that majority of the petition giving rights to these proceedings have strong attributes of public interest litigation, this court would consider it preferable to have these proceedings before heard by a division bench of the High Court. Then, they go into Mr. Patwalia's argument, and then kindly now come to the directions issued in paragraph 12. Yes, paragraph. Yeah. Kindly come to top of page 741. Division bench may consider issuing a similar order only after authenticity of these images are established before it by applying the prevailing rules of evidence. We have consciously avoided in this order giving any finding on merits of the individual cases, lest such observation or findings influence the bench to be constituted for hearing of the subject controversy. We are, however, passing the order of protecting the employment of those already in service, as we are of the view that some element of status quo should be maintained. We accordingly direct the CBI to complete the investigation within 2 months and submit its reports before the High Court. CBI should also be at liberty to take such steps as may be lawful in pursuant of the investigation. We also direct that protection to the appointment which is being accorded today shall continue for a period of 6 months to enable the division bench to finally adjudicate on the subject dispute. Proceedings in which the petitioner appellants have approached this court directly without being impleaded shall also have the right of audience before the High Court, but for this purpose, appropriate application shall have to be filed. As then leaves it to the division bench to decide the mode of
Okay, fine, we have understood.
Yeah, these are broadly the findings. Now, when the matter goes back, kindly now come to page 900. Page 900.
Yes.
This is the proceedings of the court dated 19 January 2024.
Yes.
Yeah. Requesting for inspection, etc. And please see at page 902.
Yes.
I'm not reading the earlier part. We have considered the last 2 paragraphs We have considered the rival contentions of the parties as also the order of Supreme Court. Honorable Supreme Court requires us to consider the issue as to whether the authenticity of images were established by applying the prevailing rules of evidence or not. Images are in electronic format. They are said to be contained in the 3 electronic devices, again claimed to be seized by the CBI from an employee of NISA, an entity which was who was entrusted with the scanning and evaluation of the OMR sheet, wholly without prejudice to the rights and contentions of the party. We deem it appropriate to direct the CBI to produce the electronic devices seized from the ex-employee of NISA on January 24, 2024. It is submitted by so-and-so, Deputy Solicitor General, that seized electronic devices were sent to Central Forensic Science Laboratory. CBI retained a copy of the contents of such devices. CBI shall preferably produce electronic devices seized from their examiner. It was never produced. They were said to be lying with CFSL, never produced before the High Court. CBI shall also produce the original certificate issued by the ex-employee of NISA, annexed to the affidavit of CBA on the next day. On that day, when this matter came up, a photocopy had been filed, therefore they were asked to produce the original certificate issued by the ex-employee. School Service Commission will also certify and produce the data available with them with regard to the 4 categories of cases before us on the next day. Again, same direction with regard to inspection of such produced materials produced will apply. These directions will cover all categories of cases that are being heard by us. Issue as right of cross-examination will be considered even when raised by any individual part. Then, we go to the next proceeding, which are at page 954, that is the 24th January, 5 days thereafter. 954.
Yes.
Yes. Exception to the affidavit of Central Bureau of Investigation already filed in court be taken on record. At the commencement of hearing, Mr. Ranjan Bhattacharya, Learned Senior Counsel appearing for
Okay. Some logistics. We like your side to conclude by 3 o'clock.
Lord, I'll pray for 10 minutes. Lord, I'm for untainted candidates whose name has not been found anywhere in any of the.
Whatever it is, please do not repeat. We will contain
No repetition.
of this on this side till 3 o'clock.
Very well.
Please distribute the times how you want to do it.
All of us have also filed submissions, so we'll advert to that and finish it fast.
Yes.
10 minutes. 10.
If you have anything else to say other than what has been said, you can certainly take time.
Yes.
But do not repeat.
Yes, no. Yes.
Because no, please, we have made it very clear. Whoever, because we like to hear them for about an hour so that we can conclude if possible today. Otherwise, we'll continue tomorrow.
Very well.